Okay. Okay. I keep saying okay, and I was just about to. But yeah, anyways. So today we're going to talk about why doing your schoolwork, your assignments is important, and how it could benefit you, like the opportunities that it could lead to you, as well as why sometimes we won't do our schoolwork or other things. So, first and foremost, always ask God what are you gifted at? And by doing your schoolwork, it will always prepare you for class. By doing your assignments before class, by being more focused during class, doing the extra assignments, even if you don't want to, because it will benefit you, because the more you learn about each of your subjects, the more you will learn what you will like. And at first, you may not like the thing that you'll end up pursuing or that will end up being in your job, but over time, in doing all your assignments, even when you don't want to, you'll learn more about the subject than you do when you just don't do anything. Because then, if you don't do any of your assignments, then yeah, you're not gonna like it because you don't understand it. But when you actually start doing your assignment, your work that that whoever is teaching your course or wherever you're doing it is needing you to do the assignments, or they may give you, hey, here's a sheet of paper. It's not an assignment, but yeah, do those worksheets, whatever your teacher gives you, your professor, because one, it may end up being on the test even though the professor didn't assign it in the first place. By doing your schoolwork, you will learn what you are gifted at and find what you may want to pursue in the future. Also, keep asking God for help. Like asking him, what am I gifted at? You could ask him, what will help me for the future? Or you could ask, what do I need in order to pursue my destiny? Or you could ask, what will help me to achieving my goals or his goals, him being God, the goals he has for you. So yeah. And then when you don't feel like doing it, or there's like some reason that you don't want to complete these assignments or don't want to do things throughout your day, this may be due to the fear of just in general, fear that just stops you from completing what you need to do. And sometimes this is caused by caring too much of what others may think of you, which could lead you to not doing what you need to do or not doing it efficiently, doing something poorly. And this is not great, because when you take people's input and you ask them, should I do this? And these people are unqualified, meaning there's someone who doesn't know about the topic or doesn't use it, not educated in the topic, or do not work in the industry or position, or someone who has never done it, then these people are not qualified into answering your questions about the topic, about the situation, the subject, because they don't have the right knowledge to give you, and their response may attack you, and it's not going to be the best response for you, because you're asking people who are not qualified to give you the answer to these questions. So sometimes asking people for permission to doing something could result you into not doing something, because another person won't see the topic, the idea, the situation, the subject they won't think or see it the way you do. And so by asking a qualified person is someone who works in the industry or position, who is educated, so they have effectively studied the topic, the situation, or they have experienced it and they learned how to succeed from the experience. So those are qualified people to ask, and those people are always better to ask. So when you have a question, always search for the person who is qualified to answer and not just some person you see randomly on the street. Because when you ask a person who is underqualified to be answering your question, then sometimes you end up, so say you're here, and if you ask a qualified person, then you'll be here. But if you ask an unqualified person, then you could be worse than you started, and that's not good. And if you can't find a qualified person, God is a qualified person for anything. So you could ask him and jot down whatever possibly comes through your head or what happens throughout the day, any signs that indicates to you that that's from God. And sometimes it may not come as quick as you think it will, as if you were having a conversation with another person, because God works, he communicates with us how he wants to. Sometimes it could be like having a conversation with another individual, and sometimes you just have to keep your eyes open and make sure that whatever is happening, that you ask God, hey, is that you? And making sure that that isn't something that just happened because it just did. So be aware and understand everything that occurs. While sometimes, if you don't, how should I word this? Sometimes it's best to not talk to anyone and just do it. But when you're doing this and you don't want someone to say, hey, you're not doing something all day just because you didn't tell anyone, then keep a notebook and write down everything you did that day that you didn't tell anybody, because you don't need to. You don't have to tell everyone or even an individual everything you did throughout a day. But you could keep a notebook that has everything written of what you did that nobody knows besides you and God. And make sure to write the date of it before you start writing it, just so you don't have to worry about knowing which day is which and how much you completed in one day that you didn't tell anybody. So, and when somebody does come to you and say, hey, you didn't do anything today, or you don't do anything throughout your days, you could show them the notebook and say, just because I don't tell people everything I do throughout the day does not mean I do nothing throughout my days. Because it's not what the people know and understand. People don't need to know what you do every day, but they have to understand that you are doing something. They don't have to know the details, but one day they will understand that you weren't just wasting your time or not doing anything when based on based on your success that you will achieve in the future, and they'll realize, what was that person doing all these years? And they may wonder, and people will always wonder of each other, and some people will still think you did nothing, but that's okay, because those people aren't the ones that matter. Those aren't the people that you need. You need the people who understand, hey, I know I may not see everything you do or may not know everything you do, but I know you are a hard worker. You're someone who wants to achieve their goals, wants to want to pursue the path, the story that God gave you, and you're doing that by whatever you do behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, when I said that, it's basic. I'm referring to what people do not see, what people do not know, what you do throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month. And things that you do not tell people, it doesn't have to be like 10 things. It could just be one thing that you didn't tell somebody, or it could be something like, hey, I brushed my teeth today. And I didn't have to tell, and that's not like something you would tell somebody, but you still did it even though nobody asked you, or you didn't tell anybody, or nobody watched you do it. It's just something you do, and that's something that you should be proud of, because it's one task, even if it's like part of your morning routine. That's okay. Still something. Don't think that the things that you don't tell people that you do every day have to be like something grand. It could be something small, because people who become successful start out by focusing on the small things that later turn into things that are big and ginormous, or will lead to things that are big and ginormous. So yeah. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining, and thank you for watching this video, and be sure to subscribe to find out when I go live next. And you could be notified by hitting the notification bell whenever I go live, if that made sense. And you also be subscribing to videos that will appear Monday and Saturday. And be sure to leave a like and a comment of what was your takeaway from this video, or what did you enjoy, what do you not like, what do you think was beneficial or helpful. So yeah, thank you for joining me here today, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, y'all.